The difficult moments that you're living through right now are actually a catalyst for your greatest awakening. I want you to take that thing that you've been holding on to so tightly and try a little experiment with me today.
Gabrielle Bernstein, a role model for spiritual seekers.
Are you ready today to stand with me and look at the stories of the past through the lens of compassion? The trauma, the heartache, the suffering, the sadness, the hormonal upheavals, the breakdowns, the addiction, the stories. Are you willing today with me in this moment to have a quantum shift and look at that through the lens of love? Are you willing? I already know the answer because you walked in the door. The wisdom within you brought you in this room today. How different would your life be if you knew you were always being guided? Take that in. How different would your life be if you knew you were being guided? If you knew that you didn't have to figure it out? If you knew that it was unfolding exactly as it was meant to be, and that what was meant for you was finding you? And if you knew that that thing you thought you wanted didn't happen because it wasn't yours, because something so much better was on the way? And if you knew that you could just do less and attract more, and if you knew that there were invisible angel wings behind you, walking you and ushering you through the doors that you needed to step into, if you knew that, how different would your life be, my friends? Take it in. My favorite message from A Course in Miracles: if you knew who walked beside you on this path that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. If you knew who walked beside you on this path that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. And there's a way of living in this world where you can live with unshakable faith, where you can know, oh, that didn't happen. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for taking that and ripping it up and destroying it because it wasn't meant for me. How many of you are holding on to something that you think you need? The secret to having what you want is to forget what you think you need. To give it away, to surrender it all, to ask for what is of the highest good for all. And to live in a way where you know that in the humility of asking what is of the highest good for all, you are humbly guided. You are led. You are shown where to go and what to do. You are no longer controlling, you are allowing. And you're living in the world, but you're thinking with the thoughts of heaven. And you're living in the experiences that seem to be uncomfortable, but you're knowing that there is so much grace on the other side. And you're living through the heartache, and your faith is holding you like a blanket. And I can speak for this because I've lived it and I know it. And it's the greatest gift in the world to be able to stand here with you today and tell you that there is a way of living that is not here. But it might seem to be here, but it's not. And you walk through life and you just feel joyful and you feel childlike and you feel alive and you feel connected and you feel the wonder of the universe and you feel the synchronicities, and you don't say, oh my God, look at that wild synchronicity that just happened to me, but you say, yeah, duh, of course. That's mine. That's a wink. Yesterday I decided to start referring to myself and introducing myself as Gabrielle. Why did I make the decision to start to perceive myself in a new way? Because I felt this up-leveling. Literally 19 hours ago, I was sitting in the room with Lisa Miller doing an interview, and I sat with her and I said, Lisa, I'm in a new stage in my life. I'm new. I feel something shifting inside of me. I'm Gabrielle. And she looked at me and she's like, you're new. There's something inside of you that's shifting. And I had this moment of a 60-second sort of flashback of my life for the past 20 years. And I saw sobriety 20 years ago. I saw remembering trauma 10 years ago. I saw the flash of the healing and the recovery. I saw myself on my knees wanting to take my life in postpartum depression. I saw myself in the journey of losing a child. I saw myself in the moments of deep despair and spiritual shakedown through menopause. And then I saw myself in this divine moment right here, right now, new. And I looked at the journey and I said, Gabby, you did good. But now you're Gabrielle. Now you're Gabrielle. So about 8 hours after I decided to be Gabrielle, again, I was sitting at dinner with my friend, Dr. Mark Hyman, and I said, Mark is going through some stuff. And I said, I can help you with that. And he said, Gabby, I want to just make sure I have your number still. And he just looks back, because we've been friends for about 15 years. And he looks back and he opens his phone and he shows me his phone. Is this still your number? And it said Gabrielle Bernstein in his phone. Gabrielle Bernstein. And I said, thank you guys for affirming for me. I said, thanks for showing off, for affirming to me that I am new, and this is where I am. And that I'm here to speak on behalf of the divine. My mission in this lifetime is to speak on the behalf of the divine, to remind you of that connection that is yours, of your divine birthright, of that soul energy of your highest self, of the capacity within you to alchemize fear, the capacity within you to live in the light, the capacity within you to be limitless, to have infinite possibilities, to have spontaneous healings, to have full body shifts inside, to live in a way where you're guided and not living in a way where you are in fear. And that remembrance of who am I now is not who am I now, it's who was I always. The remembrance. I had a whole outline and I've completely destroyed it. Because Gabrielle's like, that was last week's outline, Gabby. We're Gabrielle now. And so I'm here to speak on behalf of the divine and what it means to live in that way and what it means to live in the joy and the well-being and the certainty of knowing that this is the truth of who we are. And so when we're living in that light, when we're living with unshakable faith, no matter what happens in our life, we can choose to perceive our circumstances through the lens of possibility, through the lens of creativity, through the lens of divine guidance and wisdom, through the lens of hope, the lens of love, and the lens of faith. That lens is what gives our body the microbiome to heal. That's the lens that gives our nervous system the parasympathetic state to relax and to elevate. That lens through which we live is what dissolves all boundaries with love and opens our heart to see our people in our life, as Dick Schwartz would say, our mentors, I think is what he calls it. The people in our life who drive us nuts, we can see them as our greatest assignments. And we can move in that way. So how do we get there? How do we get there? How did Gabby decide to today be Gabrielle? How do we get there? The first step is to step into a room like this. You signed a sacred contract. You said, yep, I'm ready to be new. And to let yourself be led. And then to stay in that humility and that humble desire every single day, one day at a time, to be in that humility of opening your heart and saying, where would you have me go today? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? What would you have me do today? And allow yourself to be guided. And then to make that conscious choice every day to recognize that when we are living through that lens, we're in an energy of joy. And joy is the ultimate creator. And joy isn't something that we can just jump right into. We can't go from despair to joy tomorrow. That's just not going to happen, guys, right? We're not going to sit here and be like, I have a diagnosis and I have this issue or I have this condition or I have no money in the bank. And we can't just jump from despair to joy. It's not going to work. Your inner system will not believe it. But we can lean into what's possible. We can open up to these subtle shifts inside, these moment by moment adjustments that put us in a different energetic state. And so your work is to stop leaning into what's not working and start focusing on what's thriving. Your daily commitment to live in the divine and to live in the light of who you're here to be is to lean into joy wherever you can, to let that joy be your guide, to have more fun, and not, like I said, go from despair to joy, because that doesn't always work. But I can speak to this with authority. You know, in my darkest moment, my absolute darkest moment of being in postpartum depression and not knowing what I was going through, and having the experience of being on my knees every single day and having a biochemical condition, there wasn't really much for me to lean into that was joyful. But what I did lean into was, what can I find today to elevate me? And it might be that I'm gonna walk and hold my husband's hand for 10 minutes, or it might be that I'm gonna sit and do some breath work, or it might be that I'm gonna make a phone call to a friend, or it might be that I'm gonna walk. Every day I walked 5 miles uphill, walk. And I was doing whatever I could. And frankly, what I needed was medication, which I ultimately got, and that God works through the meds, so let's not ignore that. Okay, God works through your doctors, God works through your medications. This is not love and light, this is love, light, and sometimes Prozac, okay? So you need what you need to survive, okay? And that there's guidance in all of it. But in those moments when I didn't accept that guidance yet, I knew that I could accept that in each molecule of the day, there was a moment for light. And the more you lean into that light, through joy, through possibility, through hope, the more that light enters you. Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. So the difficult moments that you're living through in this moment right now are actually a catalyst for your greatest awakening. They're a catalyst for your greatest awakening. I want you to take that thing that you've been holding on to so tightly and try a little experiment with me today, okay? What if we took that thing that you've been strangling, that outcome, that desire, that diagnosis, that future tripping? What if we took that thing right here, right now, and we gave it away just for today? What if we did that? How would that feel? Take that thing and just give it away just for the next 24 hours. When I say that, how does that feel in your body? A little bit of relief. Is anybody in the room still holding on to it tightly? Be honest, people. Great. Let's meditate with it. Eyes closed, breathe. Welcoming and a healing into this moment. We thank the guidance of the highest truth and compassion for coming into this space today, for surrounding us, this community, this like-minded energy, this divine energy of like-minded souls who came into this room at this time, in this moment, to have a healing, to have an alchemy, to have a connection, to remember the divine light that is within us and around us. Together we help each other elevate our consciousness and elevate our energy and shift into a new way of being. And in this moment, collectively, we are helping one another, holding that light together. And hold the vision now of that energy of that light surrounding you, swirling through the chairs and the energy and just taking over the room. And all we see now are these great rays of light. All you see in your mind's eye are these great rays of light. And in this light, we breathe. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And in this light, we offer it up. Let's give it away just for today. Take that desire and know that it is taken from you. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And in this light, we know that we are well. We know that we are safe. We know that we are divinely guided and protected. Breathe into that. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. And in this light, we know that we have creative possibilities. That anything that we perceive as a problem actually is divine guidance and direction. Breathe that in. And let that go. And now I welcome all of our guides, every one of our guides and our angels in this room, to give us a healing. To take what is not ours and remove it from us now. Any illness, any suffering, any pain, any trauma, any fear, any lack, take it from us now. We're ready to be new. Take it from us now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And in this moment, as we see all that energy that is not ours being released and alchemized and just transmuted and recycled, we welcome in a new energy into this room right here, right now. And that new energy is an energy of love and an energy of faith and an energy of hope and an energy of light. And that energy starts to pour through us from the top of our heads down through our face gently. It's an energy of golden light moving through our neck and our shoulders and our chest and our heart and into our viscera and into our hips and into our toes, into our fingertips, our knees, our thighs, our legs, our calves, healing our backs, healing our bodies, healing our mind and our consciousness, and going through our toes all the way down to the ground and just giving us a remembrance now of who we truly are. And feel that light. And take a deep breath in. Let it go. And feel the newness now. Feel the shift inside. And just let that energy settle. You are healed. You are well. Repeat after me. I am healed. I am well. I am abundant. I am free. I live with grace and ease. And I choose to allow the love of the universe to guide me. All is well. Take one last deep breath in and release. And when you're ready, open your eyes to the room. You're new. Are you willing to accept that now? That there's an opportunity in every moment to become new, to up level. Every moment. Right here in this moment, we can take everything that was and say thank you, and we can accept a quantum shift right here, right now. Are you willing? You see how serious I am. You willing to have a quantum shift right now? Let's go. Let's go. Yes, let's go. Pat your neighbor on the back. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a big hug right now, people. We are ready to go. I'm having a quantum shift today. What is meant for me will find me. What is no longer meant for me will be released from me. Whatever I need to be healed will be shown to me. I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. And I'm a fucking yes for new. Yeah? Welcome to the new era that is you. That's how this can happen. Anything can be alchemized when we're in the divine light of spirit, genuinely. Not just talking about it, but being in it. Feeling it. Did you feel it? And maybe some of you in this room have big resistors and protectors up, and maybe you didn't feel it, but there was a molecule of you that felt it. That's enough. That's enough. A molecule of energetic shift is enough to create a quantum shift in your life. And my prayer for you is that you walk out of this room and you feel the healing and you feel the newness and you open your heart to say, you know what? I had a quantum shift today with Gabrielle, and I I'm going to ride that. I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to allow myself to continue to show up one day at a time for my greatest purpose and my divine light. And I want to be clear, we are not spiritually bypassing our problems in this room today, because living through the healing is part of the spiritual process. Showing up for the therapy, showing up for the operation, showing up for the date that doesn't feel right, but you kind of have a sense that it might be, but you're not sure, even though you don't want to go and you don't want to put your clothes on, but you're like, maybe it could be worth it. Showing up for that moment where you have the opportunity that feels so interesting inside. Those moments of grace are inside of you, and it's your choice now, as of today in your quantum shift, to start to lean into them. And it's okay to be going through very tough things, because you can be going through tough things and living in the light at the same time. In fact, the toughest, most difficult moments in my life were the most spiritually aligned. But they don't have to be. Your pain doesn't have to give you purpose. Your pain is part of your journey to get into the truth and the light and the purpose of who you are. So take everything that is and just say thank you and start stepping in today to our quantum shift. And so what does it look like? What's the promise of living with unshakable faith? What's the promise of living in that way? It's that you show up each and every single day and you feel that vibrational frequency inside that you know to be true, and you take even a moment, 1 minute, 30 seconds to just feel into that frequency that we established in this room, and you let that frequency be your guide. You let that frequency be your guide. If you like this video and you want to get more Gabby, check out the next one right over here.